Hello everyone, I've got another team today, and today I want to take a look at a Pokemon that's near and dear to my heart, the Perrserker. The Galarian Meowth evolves into Perrserker, which has got actually what I think is a really good move set. You've got Steel typing wrapped around Shadow Claw, which is I think one of the best moves in the game. You know, counters okay, but Shadow Claw's got a rather delicious 3 damage per turn and 4 energy per turn, which makes it really very good. And they've got a wide choice of charge moves, which it's always a bit of a dilemma. Which ones do you use? You've got Iron Head, Foul Play, Close Combat, and Play Rough. Between them, you've got a lot of coverage, a lot of options. And what I was looking at was on PvPoke, the recommendation is to go with Foul Play and Close Combat. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried that combination, but it's got one single disadvantage in that Azumarill is everywhere, and you get walled by it, and that's a bit of a disaster. So I thought I'd try out Ironhead and Foul Play, but between them, they get you coverage against most of the core meta. You can hit neutral against Galarian Stunfisk, against Galvantula, against Azumarill, against Altaria. You've just got sort of a lot of options there. There's probably a few hybrid types that resist both, but hopefully not common enough to matter. To go with it, I've got two of my other favourites. You've got Dewgong there with double legacy. Yes, I know it's very expensive, but you know, I've got to show off every now and then. We've got Ice Shard, Water Pulse, and Icy Wind. And in the back, we've got Medicham. Medicham with Counter, Parrot Punch, and Psychic. Now, again, Medicham's got some nice choices for moves. I've gone for Psychic over Ice Punch simply because of Azumarill again. But also, Psychic's quite a potent move. It does hit quite hard, particularly if you can get a Power Up Punch to boost it. I've got Power Up Punch there because actually I just like getting momentum kills. Every now and then you run into situations where you can start farming straight off the bat, particularly with this team actually, because one of the joys of Dewgong is obviously the debuff from Icy Wind. If you can debuff an opponent and you can farm them with Medicham, you can quite easily build up some real momentum there with the energy and the Power Up Punch getting you cumulative boosts to your attack. So this is a set I played this morning, and it's just a quick back-to-back set of 5. We're going to start off and see what my opponent's got. I'm hoping to showcase Perrserker a little bit. I do bring out to play most of these. I think there's one where we don't see it, but right, leading an Ivysaur. An interesting choice. It's somewhat equivalent to a Venusaur, but with a slightly different selection of moves there. Instead of the Frenzy Plant, it's got Vine Whip, which is still a good move if you haven't got a Venusaur. With the Community Day move, it's a solid pick. I believe it's actually a bit tougher as well. So out comes Perrserker. It's going to probably take one of the charge moves, and there we go, that's Power Whip, sorry. Does quite a lot of damage, even resisted, so we return with a Foul Play. And there we go, up comes a shield. We're going to try again. I'm going with Foul Play here because it's ever so slightly cheaper. It doesn't really make much difference here. It still should be enough to take them out if it lands, and it's saving me 5 energy each time. We're going to let this one land. This will probably take us out. And there we go. But that's okay, because now we can come in and farm down and drop the Psychic, which will hit super effective. Now they have no shields left. That'll be gone. Thank you very much. So, what have we got next? A Lantern. Now, Lantern's a real nuisance. It's got coverage against both Galarian Stunfisk and Azumarill, and more importantly, it makes my Dewgong quite sad. So I need to stay in on this one and try and land a Psychic, which means I'm going to have to be shielding this. You know, I've got low health, but their fast move doesn't do a lot of damage, so I'll shield their Thunderbolt, and I'm just going to push straight for that Psychic and see if we can get that to land. There we go. Psychic goes off, not much health left, but enough, and missed a bubble. Let's pretend that was deliberate, and there we go. And last of all, the Galarian Stunfisk, which we do a little bit of chip damage with the counters before moving into Dewgong. We've got a choice here of Icy Wind, which does neutral damage, or we can just go straight for the Water Pulse, which does super effective. As they've got no shields left, I'm just going to go straight with Water Pulse, because as you can see, these rock slides are going to really hurt. There's a rock slide incoming, super effective against us, and look at that, almost half our health gone in one go. And there we go, we've got the Water Pulse just about. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite enough, but it's going to be close. Oh, they've got a bit of health left. I'm going to chip away with Ice Shard, and going to take another rock slide. And with just a sliver of health left, we've taken it. That was a bit closer than I like, but a win's a win. I'll take it. Next up, Lucky 10 Tiger, and we've got, what do we have? Medicham and Latias. Haven't seen that very much. Dragon Psychic, it's got some interesting typing, but that's okay. We can bring out our Shadow Claw and start taking it apart. They switch very nicely on the charge move to catch it, but that's okay because foul play is neutral anyway. So we'll just throw a foul play at them, and again, Swampurt's going to hit us with probably a Hydro Cannon. I'm surprised they didn't fire it immediately because I'm pretty sure they could have got to it first, but perhaps they're trying to do back-to-backs. But there we go, incoming now. We're just going to see if we get a shield. We'll get a shield up and a Muddy Water. Not seen that. Excuse me. Not seen that in a while, but we'll shield it again with double shield. I was expecting that to be bait for an earthquake, but we're now down 2 shields, so we're kind of committed. We need to get foul play to take Swampert down and get some farming in to build up that lead again. But if we can get to this foul play on the Latias, no. That would have hit for super effective, that would be good, but not to be. Got the Dewgong face to face, we've got no shield, so it's just going to have to land. Outrage hurts a lot, but we do hit super effective with ice damage against dragons, so that's a good place to be. We'll take that one down. And in the back they've got Venusaur, so Icy Wind will hit super effective. Almost certainly they'll shield this. They'd be daft not to. And low health. We switch quickly to the Medicham to stop them farming, but they're using Razor Leaf. So we don't have to worry about the charge move incoming, we just move straight to the Psychic. I think they're probably quite close to Frenzy Plant at this point, but it doesn't matter because we're super effective. Goodbye Venusaur. And next up, Punk XT3R. We'll lead our Medicham and we'll see what they've got for us. An Obstagoon. So I expect an immediate switch on this. Hang on a minute, they're not switching, that's not right. Something's going on here. This is a disastrous matchup. Obstagoon takes double super effective from fighting damage, so the fact they haven't switched has told me something is up. That might be what's up. They've got a Steelix in the back, which is also vulnerable to fighting. That's quite bad news, really. I'm not quite sure why they've brought that out, but I suppose it's slightly less bad than going up against an Obstagoon. So we're just going to power up punch it, and we are going to shield aggressively here, because we still know that Obstagoon's waiting for us, and we want to be able to take it out. So go for the power up punches. We've taken out the Steelix, and a Toxicroak. I'm just going to throw the Psychic. It double super effective, and I'm just going to gamble that they don't know. Oh, there it goes. Bye-bye, Toxicroak. So, there we go. Good game to my opponent, I think. They may be reconsidering their team composition now, because they've just been swept by Medicham. Next up. Whiscash. Okay, Whiscash does quite well against our swap of Perrserker, so we're going to stay in for this one, and just power up punch it. Or actually probably just going to assume they're going to guess that we're going to throw a power up punch or an ice punch and just move straight to the Psychic, which does a reasonable amount of damage, and they might not shield it. So we're just going to take a gamble here and see if they'll let it through. And they do. So we're taking out quite a chunk, and I think we can now farm down. So we can just chip away, let the Mud Bomb land, and Mud Bomb's a potent move, but it doesn't actually do a lot of damage for its energy. But it's very spammy on Whiscash, so that's the trade-off. In comes a Skarmory, and that we do neutral to that because the fighting and the fighting does neutral to steel flying combination. So we switch quickly to something that resists flying damage. Here's where the Iron Head comes in nicely, and Azumarill. We throw an Iron Head at it and take off a chunk. We're going to do that again. Build up to another one, throw another Iron Head. I'm assuming they're building up to a Hydro Pump here, because neither Ice Beam nor Play Rough will do us any good. But I'm going to guess they're going to bait here. They did. So it goes. They got a shield. We stayed in though, and there we go. We'll throw away another move. Probably should have gone for the Iron Head, but it got a shield anyway, and it saved a bit of energy. So now I'm just going to assume they're going to bait here, because if we go down, it's not the end of the world. Play rough, but still manage to finish us. That's okay, we can finish the job with Dewgong and get this little bit of an energy lead. And in comes the Skarmory again. We hit neutral with Icy Wind, so in the one shield situation that's really good for us because it gives us just a bit of opportunity to reduce their effective attack. We drop it down a little bit, and this will likely be a Sky attack incoming. A Flash Cannon. Okay, that would have hurt quite a lot more. That's super effective against ice, but we shielded it, so we'll get another Icy Wind, so we'll get another reduction in its power. Maybe we'll see how much it hurts when they get to the next one. We're chipping away there though, so maybe they won't. Okay, so I don't think this is quite long enough for another flash cannon, so it's a sky attack. And as you can see with the double debuff on there, that's done not very much damage, and we get to our last Icy Wind. And this will finish off Skarmory. There we go. And our last match, I believe. Here we have Medicham again, leading into Skarmory again. A neutral matchup. We go quickly for the switch to Perrserker, and in comes the Meganium. So we're just going to throw Iron Heads here. It does a little bit more damage, and maybe they won't shield it. They probably know that there's not a lot we can do that's super effective to them. They shield that one. It was a good call on their part, I guess. Now, I'm guessing there might be an Earthquake incoming, but we'll see. That's Frenzy Plant, okay. They really need to land an Earthquake here because we resist their grass damage, but obviously the Earthquake's slightly more expensive, so with the shields up, it's a bit more of a gamble on their part. We've got both their shields now, so I think we can afford to let this one land, and it was another bait. Okay, so, I mean, it's taken a big chunk off, but it wasn't quite enough, so we are going to get to that last Iron Head, and this will probably finish off the Meganium. There we go, so, ooh, just about. One Shadow Claw did it, so we've won the switch, and the Skarmory comes back. We're going to go for a foul play, not quite get there. But now we can bring Dewgong out, we've got a shield lead, they've got their charge move ready, so we're going to have to shield it. It's best to always shield the first one, just because that's the one that does the most damage. They'll get to a second one before we get to an Icy Wind, so this will show you just how much it does. It's taken off a fair old chunk, but now we can start Icy Winding. Our Azumarill comes out, so we drop an Icy Wind now, and because we don't like the matchup with Medicham to Skarmory, we're going to switch quickly, and we're just going to push straight away to that Psychic. I think a double Psychic should take out Azumarill, and we don't have any shields, so we can't shield their Ice Beam. If they had Play Rough, that would probably have taken a second one go, but they didn't, so off with the Psychic we go. This is the major reason for Psychic and Medicham. It's because Ice Punch and Parrot Punch together don't do any good against Azumarill, and there's a lot of those about. So another Psychic going through, and I think that'll be just about enough to finish the job. We're going to stay in versus Skarmory just to chip away a little bit and get a bit more damage in. Didn't quite get to the Parrot Punch though. Hopefully we'll get to our Icy Wind now though, and again, not quite. They're going to get to their Sky Attack, which will do us a lot of damage, but I don't think will be quite enough. No, there we go, down into the red, and Icy Wind will finish off Skarmory. And there we go. 5 back-to-back, and I think that's 5 wins. So I think that's a solid ratio there. Hopefully you saw the Gribble Cat doing its good work, and yeah, maybe that's given you a bit more appreciation for Perrserker. I really like it. I love Shadow Claw. I think it's one of the best moves in the game. Partnered it with Counter, so again, one of the other best moves in the game. I think its real weakness has always been that it doesn't do so well against the Azumarill, but with Iron Head on its side, it can do a lot better. Have you been using Perrserker in your teams? Let me know. Thanks. Bye.